Hello and welcome to the Queber channel. I am Jason, your host. Let's talk about diabetes. Someone commented on my last video about diabetes, and they were right. You see, diabetes, once you've got it, or once you're prone to it, or if you're in pre-diabetes, you are having something that will be with you for your life. And although there is treatments out there these days that they're trying that are very experimental to actually cure diabetes, the rest of us, and that means nearly all of us, are on a pathway where it will affect us in many different ways. Your blood circulation, your nerves, your body's ability to fight disease. Infections and wounds take longer to heal. You are on a downward spiral, and you have to do everything you fucking well can to slow it down, to mitigate it. But it isn't something that you can just fix. The very best thing you can do is what usually is diabetic remission. And that means for 3 months you've kept your blood sugar levels to a level where things are okay. But once your body starts becoming diabetic or is diabetic prone, you have always got to be so fucking careful about what you eat. Because it isn't like, oh, I'll get a cold or something. It can kill you. You can lose limbs. You can lose your eyesight. You can die from it. Diabetes is this weird thing that in some ways it's become so, it's just diabetes. And unfortunately, you see a lot of people on the diabetes forums and that who don't take it seriously, who hide from the problems, who still eat everything they want, who think it'll not be me, it won't affect me like that. Diabetes is a killer, and it kills you in a very horrible way. I think it brought home to me for myself, even though I had seen it in other people and saw the worst case scenarios in hospital when Paola was there in the renal ward for people who had diabetes. I realised that when the diabetic nurse took out a device and checked my toes to make sure feeling was there, that I wasn't facing any kind of neuropathy or damage, it brings it home to you when they check those things. It's scary. We know that diabetes is part of what made Paola's side effects from the medications and that worse. Paola's diabetes was, when she first went into hospital in 1998, part of the treatment that they had to use to try and bring her back from the situation she was in was steroid. And you can get steroid-induced diabetes, and they says you'll probably get diabetes later in life. Now, we managed to manage Paola's diabetes quite well, but it definitely had an effect on all of the other problems she was facing, and the damage to her body was amplified by it. And I remember having a cut on her head, and it didn't heal for about 8 months. So I'm I'm best case scenario I am, because I'm just in diabetes. I've just got in there. I'm just classed as diabetes type 2, and I've managed to change my diet and everything and remove all sugar and all that. And the thing is, anybody who's got diabetes, you need to do this. I know it's horrible to miss out on all this kinds of food. I know that's thingy, but it's not like you're doing it just, oh, I could do with losing some weight, I'll go on a diet and all this kind of stuff. No, you are literally trying to save your fucking life. You are trying to give yourself the best possible chance to last as long as possible before you start taking damage. Because unfortunately, once you become diabetic, it's slow. It usually slowly, very slowly, gets worse over time. No matter how good you are, no matter how good you are, it can get worse, and it sucks. It sucks to have this situation, but people need to take things seriously, because um, it will kill you. It will damage your blood supply, it will damage your veins, it'll make it harder for them to give you medication through your veins. It can damage your eyesight. At the end of this month, I've got scheduled to go and see. Actually, no, it's the end of next month, to see. And every year, I'm going to have to go for a check on my eyes to see if there's any damage there, because the damage starts before you actually notice it. And that's a sobering thought, that what this is, at some point in time in the future, could take away my sight. And it's played down in a lot of the TV shows, and that it's played down, diabetes is. That it's, I mean, Scrubs looked at it pretty well, and like most people, he's the guy who had it sort of, to start with, they treated it like a game and everything and that. But then they mentioned all the things like, there's a good chance I'll die first because of the diabetes. I joked about the fact that I'll get more money when I do a lifetime mortgage on this house. Why? Because statistically in that, the companies can afford to give me more money because they know they're going to get my house sooner because of diabetes. Yeah. It's crazy. Yes, it bothers me a lot not being able to have those food, but it bothered me a hell of a lot fucking more to lose my feet, to lose my arm, to lose my sight. So that's the cold, hard shock about diabetes, that you are on a reduced lifespan. And it adds another layer to my, I always have backups for everything, how I always have everything and make sure I've got enough stuff in, and what if there's a disaster, what if, and now I have to think to myself as well as, okay, worst case scenario happens, I can't just eat any old crap. I can't survive on chocolate bars and fucking ice cream or biscuits. Whereas a normal person in a disaster situation can just eat anything they find. I would die. My body would basically fucking die after couple of weeks to a month of eating all that kind of crap. So that's another worry for my brain at 3 a.m. to wake up and go, oh, what happens if this? I put a positive spin because I am a realistic and I have done all the right things, and I've basically given my body the best chance it's going to get. Now, you may think that, oh, you got diabetes because you're fat. No. They think there's more chance that my diabetes was not started by the medication that we had to stop, but that medication can, when it goes bad, that medication, and starts affecting your potassium, it can affect the sensitivity of your insulin and insulin production, and that can do it, can kick it in. All I can do is what I'm doing. Slowly lose weight, that's a bonus, and make sure I basically keep away from anything that's going to push me further along that path. Take care of yourselves, and thank you to the person on my that replied and messaged what I did.